Hello, I am Sarah Millican and welcome to episode 71 of How to Be Champion Storytime Spectacular. Ta-da! We are in the middle of the Who Do You Think You Are chapter. Let's crack on. My Grandda had a greenhouse in his spare bedroom. Well, he grew plants in there and I sometimes helped. He used to spray blue bottles to death in his little house and leave them like a warning on the floor. My sister and I did his housework for a while and his hoover looked like it had been sent back from Beamish. You know, the North East's ultimate open-air museum attraction for being too old. We hoovered up the graveyard of flies with the hoover from our house for fear of it breaking his antique. Every Christmas Eve we'd go to his house for tea and my sister and I would look forward to going to the nearby paper shop because the lady wore baubles as earrings. My Grandda would make everything from scratch and it was a wonderful feast of a picky tea. His potatoes, deep fried in batter, were amazing. One year, as he was getting older, my mum suggested he didn't go to all that trouble and that she'd just bring some bits from Marxie's instead. He reluctantly agreed. On the day, as my mum was unpacking the bags, he asked how much he owed her for the food. She knew he didn't have much, so just said just a fiver. He was pleased and surprised by how cheap Marxie's actually was, despite its reputation for being pricey, and gave her a fiver every year after that to do the same. One year before Christmas, when we asked him what he wanted off Santa, he said, "Don't waste your money on me. I don't need anything." We decided to ignore that, which was a good job, as when my dad brought him round at 7 a.m. on Christmas Day, he opened the living room door. If it was shut, it meant he'd been, and excitedly asked, "Which one's my pile?" A tradition in our family was that when you turned 16, Grandda took you to the pub. Sadly, he died when I was 15, so I never got the chance. My parents had a go at tracing the family tree but hit a brick wall, so a team of professionals with more than a pensioner's grasp of the internet and access to some helpful ladies in a library seemed like the only chance of answers. When the production company asked me, I felt I had to accept. They ask if they can start researching you, and if, after 2 months, your history is all pretty standard, they leave it alone. Thankfully, my past had some sparks of interest, and so off I went for a fortnight into the unknown. I was told we were going to be somewhere very cold. They don't tell you where you're going or what they've found out until you're at an airport or in front of an expert with the camera rolling. Makes total sense, but when the makeup artist Kat and I got cold weather training, we knew it was going to be somewhere really cold. Russia? Canada? Gary said that the cold weather training was probably just for the start of the show when I chat to my parents in South Shields. Cheeky bugger. The cold weather trainer told me to wear Spanx, as cotton knickers would make me colder, something to do with sweat freezing. Or better still, he suggested just go commando. He sat back all proud of himself. I told him in quite graphic detail how heavy my periods get and asked if I was supposed to just stick the fanny pad to my leg. Little did I know that we were going to end up in temperatures of around -26. At the start of the shoot, we travelled from my home to South Shields to see my parents. My mum asked me to not include one of our relatives in the show. I explained we'd mostly be looking into the dead ones. It wasn't surprise. They filmed my parents and asked what they thought we might uncover. My mum was convinced there was money because someone in her family had a piano. My favourite thing of the whole trip happened that day. My mum and dad were sitting around the table after being interviewed and the sound man needed some wild sound, which is just what the room sounds like without anyone talking. All locations have a different sound, so he needed us all to be quiet while he recorded just a minute of that room's version of silence. To identify the recording, he held a boom mic in the middle of the room and said, "Wild sound, Sarah's parents' house, the back room." At which point my dad leaned into the mic and said, "Dining room." It turned out we were going to Canada, and at the airport the production team gave me some salopettes to try on in the airport loos. I tried on 5 or 6 pairs and none would shut around my belly. They told me, "Hello little dog, always come to see me." They told me not to worry and that they'd get some during our stopover in Toronto. We tried several shops in Toronto. I was too fat for snow. Even bloke sizes wouldn't fit. Jesus! I knew they'd want me crying during the making of this programme, but I had no idea it would start in the fitting rooms. We eventually found some that would do up, in a shop called Hogtown. Rude. The crew were great, but regularly whispered in the corner about what the next day had in store. As Kat pointed out, it felt like they were always about to bring out a birthday cake. So after that, every time they came back over from whispering, Kat and I would start singing, "Happy birthday to you." And that is the end of episode 71. I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope we see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. In the meantime, look after yourselves, stay in the house. If you go outside, wear a fucking mask, wash your fucking hands. Lots of love, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello, it's Sarah Millican here. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all of my latest videos. Don't forget to like, pop a comment below, and why not stick around to watch a few more? I'm sure those emails or those dishes can wait a bit longer.